Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Crossover. Starring Josh Johnson and Chris McGill. Featuring Christina Thorson. And of course, you, the Instagram live chat. Now, sit back and enjoy this week's edition of The Crossover. Powered by Card Ladder.
So, what's wrong?
What do you think?
You were really rooting for Team B in the Rising Stars competition.
Oh, you're screaming black. I'm gonna get my iPhone.
Oh, no. Not this again. Come on, Zuck.
Dude, Zuck's got it out for us.
I mean, at what point does Josh just start the show with his iPhone?
I
Oh,
don't know. It's like in another room and, I'm waiting.
But
Well-
it's
well,
not like it's a surprise show. Like, you know what time it starts. Why not just add that before the show starts?
You're speaking
we are.
logically. Too logical.
Christina's blowing up our agenda of fielding offers from other platforms to host our show. So, Elon, if Twitter wants us on the platform, you're saving all that money.
What's it called? Spaces?
yeah. Spaces probably wouldn't work.
Don't threaten us with a good time.
All right. Josh is getting his device ready. And while he gets his device ready, I will officially welcome everybody to the crossover. Today is February 14th. Happy Valentine's Day to all. And we always kick off the show with announcements and mail days. And Christina, do you have any card ladder announcements that you'd like to share with the people, or nothing right now?
I don't think I have any announcements.
That's fine. That's totally fine. No announcements from Christina as we bring Josh back in. I wonder, maybe Josh will have a card ladder announcement for us. And hopefully he can see us. Good?
Good.
Nice. Okay. Do you have any card ladder announcements for this week, Josh?
Nope.
No announcements. And how about mail days?
Mm-mm.
Me neither. No mail day for me, Christina?
Uh-uh.
No mail days. All right.
So we're gonna be efficient today?
We are going to be very efficient tonight. You might call us the Department of Hobby Efficiency.
I saw a question about that and got a big ol' fat smile.
I'm glad that's what you got. Okay. We'll get to that question. That comes from Drake. But let's warm up with a question from Salty Sports Cards, who says, if I spend $75 on my girlfriend's flowers, but $750 on an Eli Manning card and $1,500 on a Jalen Brunson card, am I a bad person?
For spending that much on Valentine's Day? I don't know. Maybe I think so.
But you gave a comment that was of a different persuasion.
No, that's what I said. He spent too much on the Valentine's gift.
Oh, okay, fair. I have a slightly different take on this. I think the ratio makes sense, but Eli Manning and Jalen Brunson, that's where my criticism starts.
So that's not where I saw that going.
Wait, who the fuck spends $75 on a plant that's cut and is gonna die within a week?
See, that's the take.
And what about plants have sensation and some degree of feeling.
They do. That scientifically proven plants actually scream at a frequency that human ears cannot hear when they're cut or damaged.
I think we need to consider that before we go out there decapitating these roses.
Dude, I gave the advice 2 weeks ago. I said, here's what you do for Valentine's Day. It's free. Just spend time with your significant other and that's free, and that's better.
Nice. All right.
While you're on
Next
eBay
up,
buying cards.
you guys can look together. You can compare save searches. Come on. That'd be great. All right. Iowa Dave Sports Card says, is it too early in the year to be thinking about and get excited about the National?
No way. If you don't have your hotel by now, this is your alert, your official warning. Get your hotel now.
Yeah. I mean,
Someone ask Josh or Chris where we're staying for the National, please.
we just
Motel
manage.
6.
We're the managers here.
Right.
We just make sure work is done.
Right. We're the ones at the mercy of Doge at this point.
Yeah, I mean, not to be too blunt, but a splash of cold water is in order here. If you don't have your room yet, you're late. You better start scrambling.
Yeah.
You better get a move on it.
Yeah, have your tickets, your plane tickets, get those in order, your hotel, get it all going now. Then you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, pray to the hobby gods that there's still some rooms available that are relatively close. All right. Next up from Ragnar Cards. Can we pour one out for the goat chasers that are stuck with Patrick Mahomes cards?
He's only 29, right?
Yeah. I'm not sure when his birthday is.
Is he even 29?
Yeah, I think he turns 30 soonish.
He turns 30 in September.
Okay, yeah. So he's 29. And Brady, I don't have it in front of me, but he had like that 10-year drought in the middle, so I think we're okay.
He did. He had a big old drought.
Yeah. And there was like talk of like, was it always the defense? Was it always Belichick? And then he clearly turned that around towards the end when it became the Brady show.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, look, I feel awful for these guys, and sell now while you still can. Look, I mean, I want to be a good member of this hobby, so you got those one-of-one rookie cards. Don't go down with the ship. You can just bring them over to me, and I will. I'll work with you as my good deed for the year.
Paying 50% counts.
Paying strong, because the goat chase is over. All right, it's over. So I mean, these are no different than Justin Herbert cards at this point. Light them on fire, folks.
If Justin Herbert had 5 MVPs?
I mean, that's a minor detail. The goat chase is off.
I mean, Josh Allen's got 1 now. He's basically there.
If you're not a goat, you're sinking in a boat. That's
nice.
Dr.
Seuss is here tonight.
Dr. Seuss is paying a visit to the hobby on Valentine's Day. Okay. From the Cardfather 13, which NBA team besides the Los Angeles Lakers do you think won the free agency trade deadline?
I want to hear yours. I think we have the same answer.
My answer is the Warriors.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm like one of probably there. You would have to look really far to find somebody higher on Jimmy Butler than me.
Yeah. And I don't really like Wiggins, so they basically got Butler for free. And they kept Kuminga, which I thought was smart. Keep the younger guy, get Butler for the playoffs. He's already helping.
Yep. Kyle turned on the TikTok camera for Bill on his most recent episode talking about Butler. And Bill's smile was so wide they had to bring in the panoramic lens that Jimmy got sent out of the East, and the Celtics now can rest easy for a few more playoff runs. Is there a case to be made that the Spurs acquiring De'Aaron Fox?
I like the move. At least getting like a young perimeter player to pair with Wemby. You might as well get ahead of that.
Yeah.
Smart. I'm not a big Fox guy, but it's better than what they had before.
Yeah. I'm not a big Fox guy either, and I'm not entirely convinced of his ability to like come to a 500 team and like raise their performance significantly. I'm just not sure if he's that type of player.
Yeah, maybe it's a stopgap till Wemby's really ready.
Yeah. Yep, and probably good experience to play with a ball dominant guard. Okay, from Runs with Bulls 23, who do you think the Lakers should add in the offseason to complete their Showtime triumvirate?
We're already in the off season. This is what the media keeps doing to the Lakers. They're already like, oh, let's see how they go next year when LeBron's 50. I feel like they should focus on this year. I don't know. Some center, I guess.
How about this one? How about my boy Big Daniel Gafford? Free him from the Mavericks and bring him over. He's got the experience with Luka. That means he can obviously play with LeBron. He's a rim protector. He's a very efficient scorer.
Is he out for 6 weeks? I saw.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Yeah. I mean,
brutal.
Half the team is in street clothes.
Must be that's what we talked about with Brett. Must be the strength and conditioning unit they got over
there. Right. Okay. From Publius 13. Is there any saving the NBA All-Star Game? It is such an iconic weekend for me as a kid, and I don't even turn it on anymore now.
I got an alert that was like Keontae George Team C, and I was like, what the hell does that mean? I have no idea what it is. It's like some 6-team G League bracket or something, or it's like a 2-night deal. I don't even know what it is.
Yeah, I have it on the background. I don't completely understand what's going on either.
Someone was just lifting a trophy. Is it over?
No, this was like the Rising Stars stuff.
They're going to play to get into the tournament to play against the pros?
I have no idea.
The veterans?
I have no idea. I don't think so, but I don't know.
They did a poor job of explaining this, right? And the fact that they keep changing the All-Star, where it was a draft from the players with captains with the countdown scoring system to now it's this.
Yeah. Not great.
Did you watch the Pro Bowl?
No.
It's not like the NFL's got it figured out either.
No, they don't. They definitely don't.
At least the Pro Bowl, like, it was like easy. Like, it's like flag football, coached by the Manning brothers, isn't it? Like, isn't that like their standard now?
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
I don't know. Like, I pulled up my calendar and I was like, when's the next Laker game?
Right. Exactly.
I just don't care.
I really prefer if my favorite players don't go to this weekend. I saw from Dave McMenamin that LeBron doesn't plan on arriving until late on Sunday, and he's just gonna play the game and then leave.
Totally. And Luka's not in it, right?
Nope.
Excellent.
Exactly.
I don't even want LeBron to play. I just do. This is why, though, dude, because it's like, you guys want us to win these championships. Why the heck would we waste our energy in these games that don't matter? Right. It makes no sense.
Exactly. Okay. From Vinny Slabarino. Always enjoy the show. How soon is too soon to receive a reduced price offer after you start watching a card on eBay? For me, if the offer comes within a day, I feel like there must be something wrong with that card. But if I get the offer a week later, I feel like the seller is trying to move it and I'm getting a deal. Is this rational? Thanks, Vinny.
Doesn't that mean, though, that that's just when you started watching the card and then you get the offer? So they could have had it on a long time before you even saw it.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how that works. I did see a comment to that effect, that it's sort of automatic. Like maybe after you after you start watching it, like the seller can set up an automatic offer to be sent to you. I think one of the things that's a little weird about it, that's obvious, is if you're going to send that offer to watchers, why not just start out at that price as your listing price?
Yeah.
And then when you think about that, then you realize, well, they're probably trying to reward you for watching and sort of make you feel like you're getting a deal. Well, then I get to the point of like, okay, so it's a little bit of a gimmick. It's trying to sort of manipulate me into feeling like I'm getting a deal. and I don't like that as a buyer. I don't really like that feeling.
Yeah.
So
Some of them are like, act now before someone else grabs it, 5% off, and it's already like 100 times over value.
right.
Correct range.
I imagine that the concept behind the system was, if you have like $100 card, let's just say the Wembanyama prison-based PSA 10, and you really want to get rid of it, and you gather like 20 watchers, and nobody's biting at market price after a day or two, then you can just quickly send a 20% off, and it's like a genuine discount off of market price. Like I figured that was the concept behind it. Maybe that's how it works in other categories, but in the sports card category, we just seem to use it as like a device to take our 10x markup and turn it into an 8x markup and try and hope somebody feels like they're getting a deal.
Yeah. I would love to see some eBay analytics on cards that are marked over market value, like the average length of time they sit there.
Right. Exactly.
It's
Okay.
probably not great for eBay's bottom line to have that scenario play out all the time.
Yeah, I agree. All right, next question from Zips Cards. This is a very succinct question, but it's a really big question. What are the ways to find out your PC?
Find out? What do you mean?
I interpreted this question to mean, how do you figure out who and what to collect?
Oh, okay, sorry. Find out who to PC, right? What players?
That's what I think this is saying, yeah.
Well, I don't know, because it's like, pick your favorite players, but then it's like you also don't want to just send them down the rabbit hole of being stuck with some random player that might change teams, etc.
Yeah, and if you're new to the hobby, you need some hobby experience, I think, to sort of figure out who is collectible and why, and um, find if there are players who are at a discount where there's value on those players. Like it's really hard to answer this question without hobby experience. So like that's why it's a really challenging question of like how do you like intelligently start collecting?
Right.
It's tough.
Yeah, I always like to tell people to like sit back and watch for a while. Almost like act like you're going to buy stuff and then just mark it down and see and track it months later and like what would have happened so you can kind of get an idea for decisions you might have made. But we always fall back on like we can't decide. Nobody can decide for you. The more that people tell you what to do, the worse off it gets. You have to just jump in your own.
Agree. Yeah, I kind of lean that way. Just start somewhere. It doesn't have don't expect like you're gonna hit home runs or that you're even gonna end up liking the lane that you're starting in. But start somewhere and then you'll figure out as you go whether you like it or not. There's just so many approaches. You could fall in with team collectors and find other people to associate with who collect your team, or just other team collectors. And there's content out there that's focused on that. There's like Hall of Fame collectors, people who just collect the top 50 players of all time in a given sport. They try to get like the rookie card of each one of them. There's player collectors, and some focus on some of the best players and try to get as many of their cards, or try and get some of their very best cards. There's others who are player collectors, but they focus on like prospects and they try to find like the next big thing that hasn't gotten found yet. Just so many different. I haven't even. I'm sure I'm probably leaving off some approaches too.
Yeah, or just like pick your favorite player and then try to get the best cards, knowing that they're possibly cheaper than the expensive players.
Right. Exactly. I guess another thing that I was like is when is just like just go buy a box. Don't Not like $1,000 box, but like buy like a $200 box of cards and just kind of see all the cards and how they come out, and gain a little experience transacting on eBay by like selling a few of these and kind of figuring out that side of the process as well, because everybody's going to sell cards at some point to fund other cards or for no other reason. But yeah, that's a great question. I don't know that there is a good answer to that question.
Yeah,
From
takes time.
It does take time. From Pat Nicholson, I did not bid on a card because Josh said if I don't bid on it, I will get it for cheaper, but now I don't have the card and I don't know where it is. So please.
I really hope he's messing with me because he messaged me that he enjoyed that whole bit we had with Brett on our show this week. So I don't think that episode's out yet, right? Or is it out?
I don't think so. I think it comes out like next week, Tuesday or something.
We had a funny chat about that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the risk, just to be clear.
Of course.
Yeah.
Don't bid at your own risk.
That's good. That's good. Jot that title down.
Yeah. It's not very good advice. The advice is to not do anything and watch your grail slip past you.
Right. Well, that kind of bleeds into this question that came in from USMNT Soccer Cards, just kind of because, like, if you do sit out a card and hope that the card shows up later, you still need to know where to look for it. You need to know, like, the flipper accounts to watch on social media, and you need to know how to find it on eBay. Be in the right Facebook groups, the Deal No Deal groups where nothing ever sells.
It's almost like this advice works better when once that auction starts, you have in your mind like, gosh, that person's going to bid on this. I just know it. You know, you almost like have to anticipate who the winner's going to be and have a pretty good idea. Otherwise, you should probably bid.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I thought that blended nicely into this next question because my interpretation of this next question is it's getting at sort of the unfair advantage that people who are well connected or well networked in the hobby have. So USMNT Soccer Cards has this. As we know, mega bidding your own card on auction will land you in Hobby Guantanamo Bay. And just to be clear what that means, that we're talking about shilling. People who shill their own cards are condemned. But on the other, and he says, and everyone seems to be in agreement that this is the proper punishment. But on the flip side, it seems that hobby influencers openly encourage having relationships with other collectors and conspiring at times to decide who gets the right to bid on a certain card in order to avoid the entire group outbidding each other. Are both of these actions reprehensible, or is one worse, and if so, why?
So this is like anti-shilling? Like you would have bid, but now you're not?
Yes. This is like the situation where you've got, since he was mentioned earlier, not picking on this player, just his first name that popped into my head. Let's say you've got a collection of 10 Jalen Brunson collectors. Are there 10? You have 10 Jalen Brunson collectors.
Jeez, he's taking strays.
I know. I'm sorry. That's not Jalen. I'm sure he actually has quite a few.
Yeah,
collectors.
he has 9. Come on.
Dude, you're off the Mavs now. You gotta like ease up on Brunson.
I know. So I'm sorry, Brunson. So let's say you have a group chat of 10 Jalen Brunson collectors, and his Prism Nebula rookie comes up for sale. Or let's make it like his Prism Blue rookie. So like it's a nice jersey color match. But there's multiple.
The Nebula shows up for the 5th time.
Yeah, right. Let's say the blue shows up. Like there's 199 copies of it. So pretty rare, but like it's out there. More copies will show up. And everybody in the group chat just says, okay, now it's such and such's turn to win this card, and we'll all stay away, even though half a dozen of us want it. We'll all stay away from this auction, and we're gonna let this guy win it this time, and then we'll just wait for the next one to come up. And so there's a coordinated effort to not bid against each other, and some of the consequences of that are the market price is probably going to be lower. And so the seller is going to miss out on what otherwise would have been organic competition bidding on their card. It's also going to create a lower comp for this card, which is going to lower the perceived value of everybody else who owns a copy of the card. So there's sort of these like other trickle or ripple effects that happen. So I think that's what's getting at.
Yeah. But I mean, one of them's like actual fraud. I mean, the other situation isn't.
Yeah.
Especially bidding in your own auction.
Yeah, collusion, exactly. Collusion. Right. I think we can establish right off the bat that shilling your own auction is that's fraudulent in my opinion. So and it's definitely well, I don't want to get into the legal dimensions of it, but is there any argument that this is even really, are these things in the same ballpark in your opinion? No. So having established that there's not an equivalency between these behaviors, and that there isn't a route here to say, well, if you back off of bidding on a card, then we should give a break to the people who shill bid too. So now that we've set that aside and we're not going to back that point of view, now let's get to this point. Let's get to the lesser question, which is there anything wrong with people in a group chat colluding basically on what they're going to bid on?
The scenario you drew up of like it's my turn feels weird.
Yeah.
With the like, let's rotate.
Yeah. Yep. And it's much more easier to execute with a card that has a lot of copies.
Yeah.
It's a lot more difficult. Like Salty Sports Card says in the chat, Brunson's Prism Nebula did $100,000. Like, yeah, it'd be pretty tough to convince that group chat, back off this one. I got this one, guys.
Right. I usually just tell people, bring it on. I'll see you at the top. Right. That usually scares them away.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think if you find yourself in a situation where people are voluntarily willing to back off of a card, it might be reflecting something about the card itself, that maybe the card isn't quite as desired as it might seem to be.
But if you've got 6 collectors colluding to not bid on that one card, that doesn't take into account the 47 repackers and breakers and flippers that are just making sure it stays right at the comp anyways.
Very true. And it only takes 2 people to get it to the comp. You just need 2 people competing for it. You don't need 20 people all bidding at the comp price. Just 2. An underbidder and a winner will get it there.
Yeah.
All right. Very, very interesting question. Provocative, thoughtful question that I'll probably continue to think about a little bit. All right. From Wookie Hunter. Why are high-end collectors all douchebags?
That's a title right there.
Right. Right. Yes, it is. Do you have any thoughts on
this? This is kind of like asking, why are rich people douchebags?
Yeah.
That's a question as old as time.
It is. Yeah. Yep, it is. I think the question stands on its own.
Yeah. That's why it's a good title.
Okay,
that question asker probably had a fun experience recently that made them think this.
Yep. I bet they did. Okay. From Drake's PC, a question for each of you to answer. Suppose that you are the chair of the Hobby Department of Government Efficiency.
Yes, sir.
What unnecessary expense will you be eliminated?
Oh, I have a take on this, but I want to hear Christina's first.
Sorry, I need to read it. I wasn't paying. Yeah.
Suppose that you're the chair of the Hobby Department of Government Efficiency. What unnecessary expense will you be eliminated?
Hobby efficiency.
A second.
Oh, no.
It says
fees.
Hobby Department of Government. If you want to take a second and think about it, I have an answer.
I mean, if you want to, but my answer would be like auction fees and shit, like fees? eBay fees.
What do you think about that,
It should be a flat, small rate, and there should actually be competition between auction houses, like instead of collusion of we're all going to charge 20%.
What do you say to that?
Sounds like price fixing.
Okay, that's a totally valid answer.
I like it though. The fees is a good one. I like it.
Fees is good. See, what I was thinking about what Elon and his children or whatever are doing.
I don't think those are his kids.
His intellectual children.
They're employees that happen to be young.
His young employees. What I think about what they're doing, to me, it seems like they're actually looking for waste, fraud, and abuse. And to me, like the first thing that came to my mind was I would love to be able to go in. This is like from a card ladder point of view. Obviously, I'd love to be able to go in and audit all the shield bidding.
Yeah.
I would love to go audit all the shield bidding and just be able to see, look under the hood and figure out who is out there blatantly manipulating the market for nefarious purposes. That's who I would like to make more efficient. Get rid of the shilling.
I mean, you do that in a sense that you're creating the indexes around what we deem to be like you are protecting the indexes and the prices and stuff.
Exactly right. Well, all right, I'm dying to hear yours.
Oh, mine is that I would completely not look at the hobby at all, and I would go somewhere else because this is a free market and this is not government run.
Nice Zach.
Yes.
Nice.
I was ready for that all day.
Drake did include, he specifically said, the chair of the hobby department of government efficiency.
Yeah. This is no government here. This is free market.
Publius says, Russia, if you're listening, we would love to see those auction house records.
I like both of your answers, though. I wasn't clever enough to think about the fees one. That's good, and I like yours, too.
Yeah.
Mine is just like a smart-ass answer.
Who wouldn't love Elon coming in and taking an axe to the fees?
Dude, you know that every industry is like, man, Elon, can you just do ours next? People have been tagging on Twitter. People just tag at Doge, like, hey, I found something. Can you look at this?
Right.
So good.
All right. Next up from JD9 Cards. Oh, this is a good sports question. For greatest of all time debates, it seems better to me if a player does not make the finals or make the Super Bowl rather than making it and losing. The start to many Michael Jordan greatest of all time debates is that he is 6-0 and LeBron is 4-6. And I'm now seeing some parallels after Patrick Mahomes' loss. I'd love to hear your opinion on, is it better for a player's legacy and their sports card values for them to play, let's say, 18 seasons and go 3-0 in the championship games, or play 18 seasons again but go 3-3 in championship games?
Because Brady's 7-3, right?
Brady's 7-3.
And Mahomes is 3-2, so people are looking at that thinking, he's already got 2/3 of the way there in the loss category.
I suppose so.
And also, actually, the take on that one is that Brady's never had his ass handed to him in the Super Bowl.
Right. Correct.
Well, Atlanta tried, but Brady came back.
Atlanta got close.
Have you seen the memes where, or the reels where at halftime or whatever, when they're down 28-3, Brady's going up and down the sidelines, cussing everybody out, and then this one, Mahomes is dejected and they're all crying and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think it was 34-0. It was 34-0 late in the third. It was different.
Look, Mahomes was very mentally shook from his favorite player being traded from his favorite team.
Yep. More wreckage from the Luka trade.
We all blame Nico.
That's true, though, right? He was pretty sad about that.
Yeah. I'm going to use this question to prop up my personal greatest of all time agenda, which goes like this. I don't care how many times you lose in a championship. All I care about is two things. How many times were you the best in the world at your sport for the duration of the regular season? And how many times were you the best in the world in your sports during the postseason? And the way that you figure out the best in the world during the regular season, that's regular season MVP. The way you figure out, or the award that we give for best in the world during the postseason, is the championship MVP, because presumably if you are the championship MVP, you were the best player on what proved to be the best team through the tournament that came after the season. So those are the two metrics. Those are the two numbers I care about. So for me, if let's just throw out Brady. Let's go to Montana. Montana's 4-0 in Super Bowls, but he has a total of 5 MVPs, regular season, Super Bowl combined. Patrick Mahomes is 3-2 in Super Bowls. He also has 5 MVPs, 5 total MVPs combined. To me, the 3-2 or the 4-0 doesn't matter at all. What matters to me is how many times were you the best in one of those two domains, either the best regular season player or the best postseason player. I consider those to be the two opportunities every player has to establish themselves as the best of their sport per season. So that's how I would look at this. The obvious, having said all that, the obvious point here is that it makes very little sense to say that it is better to lose in the first round or better to miss the playoffs than it is to go very far in the playoffs but not win the championship.
Yeah, and logically, the only way to win the Super Bowl is to get to the Super Bowl. So, in order to do that, you got to win the game before that. So you would never lose that game on purpose.
Right. Exactly. All right. Next up, from Basketball IQ, at what percentage of asking price should an offer garner a response from a seller? I recently offered 73% on a 4-figure best offer card. My offer might not have been the best, parentheses, it was. And the seller is not obligated to accept my offer, of course. But isn't best offer supposed to be a gateway to starting a negotiation? Why do so many sellers not seem to understand how best offer works, but they still include it in their listing? Often they respond as though I've personally insulted them by trying to buy the thing they're selling for less than the buy it now price. Never mind those who auto-reject lowball offers.
This is Drake's question?
This is Basketball IQ.
I was thinking like 60% is like where if it were I was the seller, I would 60%. I'm like, okay, they're clearly not just like doing 50%. They're thinking a little bit more, and it starts the conversation.
Right. Yeah. I suppose that look, I think the point being made here is loud and clear. And if I were a seller listening to this, I'd say, oh, so if somebody sends me an offer, they want to get an offer back, even if it's 95% of my list price. So probably just send an offer back.
Yeah.
Because you never know. Maybe the buyer might end up going there. But there's the reply to this might simply be that if the seller rejects your offer, they're not closing off the negotiation. They might just be saying no. But if you'd like to offer more, maybe I'll accept it. It might just be a stylistic thing. It might just be the seller might just not want to counter. They might just figure I have best offer on. You send over an offer that sounds good enough, I'll take it. And if you don't, then I'm going to say no. But I'm not going to go back and forth. I'll wait until somebody sends an offer that I like, and I'll just take it. So, maybe if they reject you at 73%, come back at 80 if you're comfortable at 80. Or, if 73 is your highest, then just, and they reject it, then just move on.
Does the question asker specify if it was like a time elapsed auto reject or they rejected it manually? Because it's like an expiration date of 48 hours or whatever.
Right. They did not specify, but the last sentence was never mind the auto reject. So I'm guessing that this is actually dealing with a manual rejection.
Yeah. Which is a tactic to your point.
Yeah, exactly. All right. From Salty Sports Cards again. Would you rather have the pair of the Black and Nebula Mosaic, which are both one-of-ones from the Mosaic product, or would you rather have the gold out of 10 and the black gold or the gold vinyl out of 5 Prism? And both of these are of your favorite players. So do you want the 2 one-of-ones from Mosaic, the black and the Nebula, or do you want the out of 10 and the out of 5 from Prism of your favorite player?
Probably take the Prism.
Yeah. Yep.
You're not a big Mosaic guy?
Well, I just can't ignore the market value aspect of this question. I'll take the gold and I'll take the out of 10 and the out of 5 on Prism because I think in a lot of cases that's just going to have a stronger market value. And then I'll decide from there if I want to sell those and go try and get other cars I like more at different prices. But like if everything was the same value, if the values were equivalent, I probably lean towards the 2 Mosaic one-of-ones.
Well, the Mosaic Nebula is the more popular one of one from that product, right? The Mosaic Black is newer.
Not sure. Does that alter your calculus? Like the fact that Nebula's
I've seen the Mosaic Black one of ones, but I kind of got the impression that it wasn't like a highly sought after 101 parallel.
Yeah. Yep. All right. From Splendid Sports Cards, now that Tom Brady is a card shop owner, how soon until Tom starts complaining about his lack of allocation?
Well, I'm sure Tom can fix that problem. He's friends with Ruben, right?
Right. Exactly. What do you think about Tom Brady taking an ownership stake in a couple of different card shops?
Congrats to those card shop owners. It sounds like a good opportunity.
Yeah.
It's a Card Vault, Chris Costa's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Tom just coming on in.
Yeah, they have great locations. They're in Foxwoods Casino, Gillette Stadium, and Fenway.
There
you go.
I think that's going to be a more fruitful ownership stake than the Raiders.
Yeah. Tom spreading his seed.
Pause.
All right. It's from Brendan Ryan 74. Okay, this is a big question. Have we arrived at the point where a universal grading standard should be reconsidered? The recent news about PSA has prompted this question, with the main idea being a scale that cannot be replicated from one grader to the next and arrive at the same conclusion. Makes me think, what are we doing here?
This feels like government regulation. I'm out.
Yes, I had a similar reaction to this. Every grading company can enter the market with their scale, and if one scale proves superior, then the others can try to imitate it, as long as that doesn't violate IP. But if the market says, actually, we like different scales, and we like different graders offering different opinions that are measured in different ways, and if I don't like the scale that my card was graded on, I can take it out of that case and send it to a different grading company. The choice, the marketplace of options there seems pretty good.
This is in reaction to PSA changing their centering ratio from 60-40 to 55-45.
Yes, and I believe the technical clarification that was reported by Collect through an official statement from a representative of PSA is that while the language on the website changed, the standard did not. Their explanation was that the standard has always been that we will only allow 60-40 centering on a PSA 10 in the event that the eye appeal of the card is otherwise so superb that the grader makes a subjective opinion that this still merits a PSA 10, so long as it's 60-40 or less. And now the new language is conveying that, well, for PSA 10, normally we want 55-45 or better, and we want the language, the description of what the grade means, of what the standard for the grade is. We want the description to reflect that, but this doesn't change the fact that there still can be outliers, there still can be exceptional situations where a PSA 10 can be awarded in a 60-40 situation if the eye appeal is so superb that the grader says this still should be a 10. That's my understanding. And that may have been flawed, because this is really not something that I'm super knowledgeable about.
Can I give a take here based on what was reported? Someone went and complained to PSA after measuring their card that the PSA 9 that they got was a 60-40 centering, and their website says 60-40. So PSA was like, hey, this is our spiel that, like, internally we actually use. And someone still complained saying, but your website says, and I'm this is all me like theorizing.
This is your speculation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, this is not me having insider knowledge.
Because we all work for a company that's owned by Collectors
Yes.
Universe, which is a sister company to PSA.
Yes.
And so take that into consideration if we come across as biased in favor of PSA and so on and so forth.
Right. But just hearing, like, what Collect is reporting, to me, my immediate response is someone kept complaining, so they were like, okay, we need to clean up our language then.
What do you think, Josh?
I like the new update of the language, and I can understand the scenario you described of the 60-40, as long as everything else is flawless. All of that sounds reasonable to me. And the desire to further clarify in the text makes sense to me as well.
Yeah, makes sense to me too. I also understand, though, the backlash, because in retrospect, I'm not saying that it necessarily should have been anticipated, although in retrospect it does seem clear that changing the grading standard language without simultaneously and preemptively accompanying it with the rationale could, lead to people feeling like the standard actually shifted.
Right.
And that, they sent in their cards for grading, expecting that they would get 10s on some of these, and because the tolerance was 60-40, and now it's tighter, and people being concerned that this change in language is going to devalue my PSA 10s that were graded before the language update, because now it seems like these were graded under a looser standard, and so on. I can understand people feeling that way for sure. And so there probably was room to accompany the language change with a simultaneous explanation of why. But by the same token, every company has its right to, obviously, to communicate in whatever format it wants and to make a decision in terms of how those communications are going to impact the market. So I guess we're on back to the heart of the topic here, the universal grading standard concept. We kind of both touched on how would you enforce it, in other words, like what happens if a grading company doesn't want to use the universal standard? That's where we have a problem, right? That's where things start to get tricky.
It's called communism.
Right.
You must abide by this rule.
Yeah. So if a universal standard sort of organically emerged, or if a committee sort of formed that issued guidelines and companies voluntarily wanted to follow those guidelines, then great. But forcing the grading companies all to adhere to it, that's probably not what we want.
It sounds like some sort of council might start forming, and I'm definitely out.
Right.
The council of the grading peoples.
The Council of Standards for Grading?
Yeah, I would not go to that conference.
All right. From Bacher Board, what percentage more would you pay for a jersey numbered copy of a card, if you would pay more at all? Does the jersey number matter more if it is a match on a gold prism out of 10 versus a blue prism out of 199? Does the number match mean more to certain players or in certain sets?
I always like when the parallel is like numbered to the player's jersey number, and then you've got the double jersey number. Like it's out of 23, the player's number is 23, and you've got the 23 of 23. That actually feels like it kind of has some extra value versus like Ant Edwards is 1 out of 10. Oh, you happen to have the 1 out of 10 gold prism. It doesn't really that matter to me.
Yeah. Well, or how about when you have an Anthony Edwards 1 of 1 or Victor Wembanyama 1 of 1?
Yeah.
And it's like jersey numbered.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
It is, but I don't know. Yeah. Have you ever been one to seek out jersey numbered copies?
Yeah. It's too much emphasis put on it by the seller, where it doesn't really matter to me because I'm just looking for the card.
Have you ever been one to avoid jersey numbered copies just so that you don't pay the premium?
No, I mean if it's like 20% more, I might consider it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm of the mind that the jersey number thing is like gimmicky. Like it wasn't designed to be like, oh, this one is the better one. Like when it's like a patch, like if it's a Luka 77 out of 99, they don't specifically put a better patch in that one to like make it significant.
Right.
So it's just the luck of the draw of where that card fell versus the next one. So I just don't care. I'm with Josh.
I once knew a guy who redeemed a few Luka Immaculate RPAs because those were redemptions. And he just simply put a request in the comment section when he was entering the redemption that said, would you please give me the number 77 out of 99 and the number 7 out of 99? And they did.
Oh.
So I guess the lesson there is it never hurts to ask.
Yeah. There you go. And then he sold them on eBay for 2x what he would have the next day.
Right. Exactly. I like the idea sort of that a jersey numbered copy is like a way to find a slightly more rare or more desirable copy of a card. So I get that concept, but it has never really resonated with me, and I don't know why. I really don't. Maybe it's just habit of like I don't know. I'm not sure why it's never resonated with me.
But you know how like Status, the one parallel is like out of their jersey number, and then the reverse is out of the 100 minus their jersey number. Like they're trying to entice you to care about the jersey number. So in that scenario, if I get the 77 out of 77, like that's kind of cool.
Yeah. How about this from Turp What about the Topps Independence Day parallel that's numbered to 76? You have collectors looking for 17 of 76.
There you go. Oh, see, that's clever.
Patriotic.
Yeah.
All right.
Didn't do you remember that stupid Brady Expos card, like the 12 of 50? He like did some special inscription, and that one was supposed to be a big deal. Remember that?
Yep.
Yeah. Maybe there's like some exceptions.
Indeed. Okay. Drake bringing some spice. Here's from Drake's PC. People say they will let you know when they're ready to move a card when they are done enjoying it. You're laughing already.
I just love when people go after him and the replies to us.
But it has never even slightly slowed him down.
It's true.
So Drake says, people say that they will let you know when they're ready to move on from a card when they're done enjoying it. Yet many times these cards are actually in a third-party vault or a safety deposit box at the bank. As someone who likes spending time with the physical card, how do these people truly enjoy cards that they don't even have in their possession?
What's the reply he got?
What was the reply? I don't remember.
It was like something to the effect of, only you can tell us how to enjoy cards or something like that.
I think, look, Drake has a very artful way of framing his questions, but I think what's at the heart of this question, the more direct approach here is, God, it's kind of annoying when somebody just sends a card to a vault. We know they don't really enjoy it. We know they're just waiting for me or somebody else to pay more money than they paid for it. And they're feeding us the line that they're just not done enjoying it yet.
Yeah. I mean, this is good news for Drake. It means that they're going to sell it eventually. You just wait.
That's true. That's the zag.
Yeah. Instead of like, it's actually with a collector that is obsessed with it and I'm never going to get this. I'm never going to get it.
Win with Peace 11 says, is 2012 Gold Prism the next 97 PMG green?
You know how I know we're getting towards the end of these questions?
How?
Because you're the choice of where you put these questions.
Yeah.
What inning are we in? Like, we're getting there.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
Is 2012 Gold Prism? I think that we're in the era of the 101s. I actually think it's the Black Prism.
Yeah, me too. 2012 Gold Prisms were selling for $500,000, $250,000, depending upon the player, 4 years ago. So
Right.
I think it already has verged into that ultimate parallel tier.
Yeah.
Myself,
So we're in the 4th inning.
we're coming up on the 7th inning
Ooh.
stretch of
Ooh.
2012 Gold Prism.
The next question is going to be a roundabout way asking us what player we should invest in.
How about this one for the next question? AJM Cards 94. Can you each give what you believe will be the 3 most desired basketball rookie cards for new releases once Panini loses its license?
I was waiting for what's your favorite 90s parallel. We're so close.
I've become predictable with how I order these.
Yeah. You always you don't start with the dramatic hot topic at the start. You put that third or fourth. I'm starting to know your patterns. Because you don't want to just be too excited about it.
Right. Well, and I like to warm up.
Yeah,
I like the ease in.
Yeah. That's it's like the guys don't just show up to the arena and start a tip off. They gotta do a little warm up.
Exactly.
Smart.
Exactly.
You want to pull a hammy. Is this the Black Prism 101, the Shield Auto 101, and the Contenders Ticket 101?
But with the context of this is after Panini.
Why would that change anything?
Just because I'm thinking this is for okay, so for example, Cooper Flag is going to be a rookie next year, and Fanatics will own the NBA license to make Cooper Flag rookie cards. So what are going to be Flag's 3 big cards under Fanatics? And I think that's hard to answer because we don't know what basketball brands they're going to have outside of. I think Topps Chrome is a safe bet, and probably Bowman something.
Oh, so he's going to be the first rookie class for the new license?
Yeah.
That's cool.
It is cool. Yeah.
Oh, so he's asking us to predict what it is during the Topps era. I misunderstood.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Superfractor.
Debut.
Ooh. Is there going to be a debut NBA patch, you think?
I think they'll try to do it. I think they'll try.
Yeah, especially for the top draft picks.
Yeah. I think they'll
I won't be able to not get excited about that.
Yeah.
You won't be able to not get.
He will get excited about
it. Okay, thank you.
I saw there was a Twitter post where there was a 6 negative, and I was like, I literally have no idea what this says. The judge has decided to not go. Is what?
Oh, was it some legal mumbo jumbo?
Well, it was in terms of the judge saying that they couldn't stop the Doge from not pursuing the thing that the previous is what?
Dude, when I used to try to break down stuff like that, I would have to put it into bullet points and break out every clause of the sentence and turn it try to break it into its small pieces to understand.
Well, I went to the comments to see are people happy or sad about this, and every other one was yes, and then people are dang it. I'm I still don't know.
All right. I have no idea what the 3 most desired are going to be. I don't collect baseball, so I don't really have any idea of what the carryover is going to be. And I'm also just looking forward to sitting back and watching and waiting and seeing what it will actually end up being.
Would you sit out a year of Jokic cards, or would you try to jump in and get the Superfractor? Or what's your strategy?
I would love if all the attention sort of went to these first year Fanatics releases, and I could just have no competition for his rookie stuff that I really want.
Oh, nice.
I would love if it played out sort of like that.
And
I don't know if I'll be paying strong for his first year Fanatic stuff. Might be smart too. I don't know.
But what about you wouldn't try to keep the McCaffrey something run going, I guess you have to end it.
Yeah, I'll be freaking thrilled when it's over. His 2024 Black Finite hasn't appeared anywhere yet. Like I bother people about this
But he's
weekly.
gonna have another one, 2025. You got 2 to
Yep,
go.
I have 2 to go. Yep, and I have no idea where the 2024 Finite is. So I'll be really glad when that's done.
But you wouldn't try to keep it going with a superfractor run?
It'll have to, like all things, it'll depend on price. It'll depend on price.
This is
What it looks like.
What'd she say? I want to know what she said.
She said, and what it looks like.
Yeah. I think that's the right approach. We can't just like say we're gonna buy something we don't know what it is yet.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's how you get sucked up into pre-FOMO.
Right.
Where you're FOMOing on something that hasn't even happened yet.
That's how you buy Mercury product.
What about you? Are you even going to glance at this stuff?
Well, I do really like superfractors.
Yeah.
I think I have more nostalgia for that than you, maybe.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. So I would probably get sucked up into the soup. Like if the first LeBron Lakers superfractor came out, I might break some rules for that one.
Yeah, the only player I collect who has a rookie year superfractor is Le'Veon Bell, and I do have one. I have one of his finest superfractor autos from his rookie year. So I like them too. I think they're cool.
Yeah.
But it would need a lot of things have to fall into
It's
place.
just such a great name too. Superfractor. Like it just sounds great.
Yeah, I like it too. There's no doubt if I had like a PC player who had a rookie year superfractor from Finest or Topps Chrome or Bowman or whatever, like I'd be going after that. Like, there's no doubt.
It's like it's not a bid, it's a mega bid. It's not a refractor, it's a superfractor.
Yeah, that's good. From Jake's Sports World, with the recent release of WNBA Prism Monopoly, will the value sustain when the actual WNBA Prism releases, which it has. It has just very recently come out. Mostly with respect to Caitlin Clark. I love the crossover and keep up the great content.
This feels like the Prism draft picks scenario, right? Where it's like once the real thing comes out, the other one goes down.
Yep. Agreed. I do think there's a little bit more of a chance for Monopoly Prism to get a foothold in WNBA because it's relatively uncharted territory. So there is and there's only going to be so many brands to commemorate Caitlin Clark's rookie year. So it's a little bit different than like Prism Monopoly dropping during the 12th year of Panini's run of making basketball NBA cards. It's just a little different. Like I think there's a lot of new collectors collecting Caitlin Clark, and they can make their own market, and they can make decisions about maybe there will be a faction of them who think Prism Monopoly is better because it was released prior to the main Prism. I'm not saying it's likely, but it could happen.
What do you think about this scenario where I'm not saying this is similar to the PMG Green, but like in the future, when we look back on this era as being the era of the 101s, what if people start to put value into getting more off-brand one-of-ones than they do Prism Golds? Because it's like I wasn't able to get the Prism Black one-of-one rookie, but I still respect the one-of-one era that Panini put in place, and I want the Mosaic one-of-one rookie or something like that.
I'm already there personally.
I know you are, but what if that's like stretches to the limits of Monopoly? Like that would really test it. Because it's like you want to get in on the Caitlin Clark 101 game, and it's pretty tough because she's only got so many products.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, it would. And I think the leading products get an extra boost from the excitement that surrounds them during release, and like breakers, really hyping them up, and like I think like when we get some distance from the euphoria of the moments, and we just kind of just like when we evaluate basketball players, we just go pull up their basketball reference page, and like we're not living in the moment of the excitement of what they were doing anymore. We're just looking at numbers on a screen. I think there's a chance that the gap between the lower off brands and the higher premium brands might decrease a little bit. There's also a chance that the brand gets even bigger too, and people just are like, wow, this is a really complicated era, and I just want to just give me the handful of best cards. I really don't want to deal with all the nuance here of like trying to figure out how the set structure works on like Chronicles and these products and stuff. So
Yeah, totally.
okay, from Dormant Stash, who do you follow in the hobby, but is on your block from feed setting?
What? No.
No, the whole point of that is that we don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
Exactly. Nice try.
And the answer for both of them is Christina's PC.
I'll put it this way: I have more than 0 people that scenario is working for me.
Works very well. All right. From Tasty Card Sandwich, we'll close on this one. I don't have any questions or topics this week. I just want you all to have a good time and remember to enjoy it, because one day we'll all be dead.
Yeah, that's true. Is this like a meteor asteroid situation, or?
That someone was like, "Oh, like that's so philosophical," like in a comment to his comment. Meanwhile, I read it as like a death threat. Like, who is this Tasty Card Sandwich? And do I need to have security like come knock on his door to ask him what he meant by
I thought it was weird when you asked me for his IP address. I wasn't sure.
Yeah. Thanks for getting me that though, by the way.
Sure. This is some significant philosophy. Yeah, I texted Chris deep.
Tasty Card Sandwich is a regular question asker to the crossover and a great all-around collector. But I'm going to zag on this.
Zag these nuts.
Look, Brian Johnson has me convinced that we might not all be dead one day, pal.
Oh, don't die. Is that your new slogan?
Don't die. Do not die. DD. Look, man, we just need to continue to beat escape velocity and just be around long enough that technology and medicine merge, and before you know it, we are all just brains in the cloud.
What's that thing? Brian Johnson, he's his like average number of years that he ages per year is like 0.6 something. Have you seen that?
He has the bicep tissue of a 7-year-old.
You're joking, but he really like measures his organs by stuff like that.
He does. I like it. I genuinely hope he succeeds. Most people don't want him to. It's really funny, sort of.
Why would you not want him to succeed?
People are like really bothered by this.
Why? I hope that guy dies. Like what? What's the counter?
Yeah. And then I have a second zag on this question too. My second zag is that I don't agree with the formal logic here. It doesn't so he says, remember to have fun because one day we'll all be dead. It doesn't follow that we'll all be dead, therefore have fun. Those two things, that argument is missing premises, because it also equally could be said, since we'll all be dead, who cares? You don't have fun. Have fun. It doesn't matter. He went the hedonism direction, but you could also take this in the nihilism direction. Nihilism and hedonism can both come from the acknowledgement that one day we'll all be dead. So I'm going to need a few more premises before I grant this argument.
I have a question. Were you the well actually guy in college?
No, but I was a different brand of annoying. I
didn't say it was annoying.
I talked a lot.
Where it's like everyone's like sitting around having a couple drinks and like getting philosophical, and they're like, guys, YOLO or something like, and you're like, well, actually,
actually, you might live twice.
Yeah, and it's like, wow, way to kill the buzz.
Are you sure you can rule out reincarnation? Because YOLO is not accurate.
You just like take the speaking mantle for the next 30 minutes, and everyone's like,
All right. That will do it for the crossover for this week. I jotted down 4 titles.
All right, let's hear it. 4, that's good. We got easy choice.
Department of Hobby Efficiency.
There's no way we're going to be able to beat that.
That's great, right?
Yeah,
that's great.
It's so good.
Dr. Seuss is here today.
How do you like that one?
Don't bid at your own risk.
Don't bid at your own risk.
We have a late request in for title.
Okay, all right, I'll write that one down too. Why are all high-end collectors douchebags?
Yeah, I said that's the title, yeah.
And a different brand of annoying.
A different brand. If you don't put the Doge one, I'm not doing the show ever again. So please don't pick it.
It's the Doge one, and as a second layer to that title, we only had 5 title suggestions for this show, and they were all great. That's very efficient as well.
And we finished the show early.
Wouldn't it be like the most efficient to not choose the efficient one so that Josh never does the show again and we've now retired crossover?
See, this is the problem. This is the problem with efficiency. Is like this was the dream of like the metaverse era where it was like efficiency means laying in your bed and doing nothing.
Right. Or like the NFTs, you don't have to. There's no friction.
No, we want a little friction. Okay. All right.
Wait, the emoji. You gotta do like the little policeman.
Okay. Perfect. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Elon. See you guys next show.
CY Card Ladder is the most respected sports card analytics app on the market. We have virtually every card in our system. If the card you are looking for ever sold on one of these platforms, you can find it using Card Ladder's sales history. Easily find recent comps and get a better estimate what your cards are worth. CY Card Ladder is the most trusted and the most reliable sports card analytics app on the market. We know what you want, because Card Ladder was created by collectors for collectors. Join the innovators, not the imitators. Card Ladder, constantly innovating.